Hello and welcome. I'm Raghav and today I'm going to show you how to run Katalon Studio test on Linux machine using Git and Jenkins, and I'm going to go very basic step by step so it will be very easy for you to follow. And if you are working with Katalon Studio for some enterprise projects, then you might want to integrate your testing with a continuous integration system, and for that we use a continuous integration tool like Jenkins, and we also need version controlling using Git, and mostly we will need to run our test on a Linux server or a Linux machine. So today we will see how to do that step by step. So we will see how to share project on Git, we will see how to install Jenkins on a Linux machine, then we will add Katalon Jenkins plugin, and then we will finally create a Jenkins job and run our test from a Linux system. So this will be very easy and very interesting. If I go to my Katalon Studio, you can see this is a very simple project I have created, and if I go to the test cases folder, I have a day one folder and I have test one here, which has a simple API testing steps. And if I go to my test suite, so here I have a test suite, and if I open the test suite, I have test suite 1 here, and test suite 1 calls test 1 from day 1 folder. So if I run this and show you the logs, so this is a very simple test suite that runs as test case, and this is working fine, everything is passed, and this is what we will set up and run from a Linux system using Jenkins. So step number 1 is we have to add project to Git, and for that you can go to your Katalon Studio, and if you are on Windows, go to Windows menu and go to Katalon Studio preferences. If you are on Mac, you will find a Katalon option here in the menu, and under that you will find preferences. So go to the preferences, and in the preferences window you will have this Katalon, and if you expand this you will find an option for Git, and you can select enable Git integration, and after this you will see this Git icon will be enabled. So I will say apply and OK, and you can see this has enabled the Git icon, and then I will go to the drop down and click on share project. So this will share project on Git, and I will say OK. So what it has done is, if you go physically to the location of this project, so if I go to the, I'll just go to open containing folder, and if I go to the project folder, you can see it has created a hidden folder called .git. So now our project is being tracked with Git, and then once you have done this, next step will be we have to create a remote repository. So you can use any remote repository. For example, we can use GitHub in our case. So I will go to the browser and I will go to github.com, and I will also make all these links and URLs available in the notes, and all these notes will be available to you in the description or the notes section of this video. So this is the link where you can just create a repository. So in case you have not yet signed up for GitHub, you can pick a username, pick your email, and create a password. Give your email ID and create a password, and you will get a activation link on your email ID. In my case, I have already signed up, so I will go to sign in and sign into my account, and I will do a sign in, and here you can create a new repository. So if you go to this plus icon drop down, you can see we have new repository here, or you can also click on this button new, and it will take you here. So here I can give any name. I will say Katalon test demo, and you can give some description, make it public or private, and click on create repository. So it has created the repository, and this is the URL. So I will click here to copy the URL, go back to my Katalon Studio, and now I will again go to this drop down, and this time I will say commit. So I have to commit all the changes to the remote. So I will say commit, and this is the Git staging window. So I have to select whatever I want to commit. So I'm selecting everything, drag and drop to the staged changes area, and then I have to give some commit message. You can give some meaningful message because this message will be seen by everyone in your team. So I will say this is my first commit. You can give some more meaningful messages like what are the changes you have done, what you have added, and I will say commit and push. and you can see it has taken the remote URL, and you can give your credentials for GitHub and say next and next, and I will say finish. So this will push everything in the on the remote, and this is done. So if I go to my GitHub and refresh this repository, I should have all my changes here, and yes, you can see it has all the changes which were just committed few seconds ago, and this is my first commit. So this is done. So I will say step number 3 is add project to remote repository. And now once you have done this, so now you can see once you have added to Git, whenever you make any changes, for example, I create a new test, I will just say this is test 3 and save the project, and again go to Git and commit. It will show you all the changes which are not yet committed. So if I go to here, you can see test 3 is not yet committed. I will drag and drop to stage changes, give some message, added test 3 and commit and push, and I will say OK. And if I go back to the GitHub remote, I should have my changes here. So you can see I have got my changes here. So test 3 is added, and this is added test 3. So this is how now you can manage your project with Git. And now the next thing, we have to connect to our Linux system, connect to Linux server or Linux machine. I'll just say Linux machine, and then we have to install Jenkins. So in my case, I have a Amazon EC2 Linux machine, and this is running, so I can connect to it, and from Mac I can go to terminal and connect to my machine. So you can connect to your Linux system whatever way you want to. So I'm just using this command to connect, and yes, I am on my Linux system. So now I have to install Jenkins. Now I have a separate video, a detailed video on how to install Jenkins on Amazon EC2 Linux. So this is the video here. I will provide the link. So I will copy the link address and I will provide it in the notes here, so that you can watch this. And this is a very detailed video, step by step, on how to set up and install Linux on Amazon EC2 Linux machine. So this is done, and you can watch this video and then come back for the next step. So after this, after you have installed Jenkins, we have to start Jenkins. So I will just say here sudo service Jenkins start, and you can see OK means Jenkins is started on Linux. And to access, I can go to the IP of this machine. So you can see the IP I have is this. So I can go to the browser on my local system, and I will say http :/ IP and the port number. So in my case, I have Linux on port 9090, and all this I have shown in the video on how to install Jenkins, like how to change the port number and everything. So I will just access my Jenkins through this browser which is running on the Linux system, and I will log in. And I should have my Linux, my Jenkins which is on a Linux up, and yes, this is here. So here the next step is start Jenkins and create job to run Katalon Studio tests. So I will create a job here, or a new item. So I will go to this new item here, and I'll click here, and I will name this Katalon tests demo freestyle project, and say OK. Now here, this is the job configuration page, and here I can start adding the information. So I can see we have source code management, we have build triggers, build environment, build and post build actions. So I will go to source code management and you can see we have Git here. Now just in case you do not find the Git option here, you can go to your Jenkins dashboard, and from here you will go to manage Jenkins and you will find a option for manage plugins. I'll go here and you can go to your available tab, the available section, and search for Git and install the Git plugin. In my case I should be having it in the installed section. So, and if I search for Git, you can see the Git plugin is here. So in case you do not find the Git option, you can go to available, search for Git and then install it. So here I will select Git and now here I can give the remote repository. So this is my remote GitHub repository. I'll copy this and just give it here and I will say apply and save. So as of now I have just added a GitHub repository, so I want to check whether it is able to fetch my project from GitHub. So I will run this, I will say build now, and once this is successful I will do the other steps and I will go to the console output and let us see. So you can see it is cloning from this remote repository and it is cloning this into this location on my Linux system. So I should have my entire project cloned on this location on my Linux system. So if I go to my Linux and change directory here, Jenkins workspace, and I say ls, you can see this Katalon test demo is here, and if I go here, I just go to Katalon test demo and I go inside, you can see my entire project is here. So I can go to the test cases and I should have everything here actually. So without wasting a lot of time, let me just show you. So this step is successful, which is getting our project from GitHub using the Jenkins which is installed on Linux system. And now I will go back to my project and go to configure. So now I have to add the other steps. Now here what I can do is I can go to the build step and go to add build step and I can say execute shell and run the command to run my project. And you know, I have my project here on my Linux. I can run the command and I can also create the command using the console builder. So for example, in my Katalon Studio I have this build cmd. I can just generate the command like this. I can check the options, select the options and generate the command, and this I can directly use on my Jenkins here, execute shell. However, now we have a better option. We have a Katalon plugin on Jenkins. So I will go to my manage Jenkins and manage plugin. So I am on plugin manager. So I'll go to my plugins manager. This I have come from manage Jenkins. So let me just show you. Go to your Jenkins dashboard, go to manage Jenkins and go to manage plugins. And here I will go to the available section and I will search for Katalon, and here you will see we have this Katalon Studio plugin. I will select this and say install without restart, and this should install the Katalon Studio plugin, and this is successful. And I will go back to my project, the Jenkins job, and go to configure again, and this time I will again go to the build section, and here now in the build section, if you go to the drop down, you will have this option execute Katalon Studio tests, and this you will get only once you have added the Katalon plugin. So I will select this and you can see here we can say download Katalon Studio version. If you click on this question mark, you can see an example. So this is very useful. Now you do not have to worry about setting up Katalon Studio on your Linux. Everything will be taken care of by this plugin. So you just have to give the version of Katalon Studio you want to run on, and it will download and set up and deploy everything. And just in case you already have Katalon Studio and you want to use a pre-installed Katalon Studio, you can give the location here. So if you again go to the question mark, you can see an example. You can give the location like this, and in my case I'm just saying I want to use this, and then you can give the command line arguments here. So if I go to my Katalon Studio on Windows and I go to build CMD, I can select the options here whatever I want, and because this is an API test, I am not getting option for selecting browser, and I will just say generate command, and then all these options I can copy it from here. I do not need run mode console, I do not need the project path, I just need these options, which is retry count, test suite path, execution profile, and browser type. And I will say close. Let me just copy this. I think I did not copy. Let me just copy this, and I will go to my Jenkins job and just paste these here. So you can see this is what I need, and that's all. And you can also see an example. So this is what you need. You do not need to do give run mode, and also if you do not specify the project path, it will be taken from the current workspace directory, so which is fine for us. And here, in case you want a X11 display for Linux, you can provide it here like this. And again, if you are using XVFP, you can provide it the details here like this. In my case, I do not need that, so I will just say apply and save. And now I will say build now, and let us see what happens. So this is running. I will go to the console output, and you can see it is now running our test, and this is running our day one test one from day one folder test one, and this is running our test suite one. And everything is successful, and this is fine. So you can see everything, we are able to run it from the Jenkins that is installed on Linux. So I will say step number 6 will be add Katalon Jenkins plugin and provide information in Jenkins job. And now the next thing is, as of now we are able to run the test from Jenkins which is there on Linux system, but we are not able to view the reports. So if you go to your reports folder, so if I go to my reports folder here and I will see the details. So I have test suite 1. I will go inside here, and here I have these different folders. So I think this should be the latest folder. If I go here and I see, so there are all these report files, and then we have a JUnit XML report. So we can use this to show results on Jenkins. So here I will go back to my project and I will go to configure, and here if I go to post build actions down, here in the post build actions we have this option to publish JUnit test result report, and this option you will get once you have the JUnit plugin. So again, if you go to your plugins, I'll go to plugins and I will show you in my installed section because I already have JUnit, and by default JUnit is a plugin that comes with Jenkins unless you select to uninstall it. So if I search for JUnit, so we have this JUnit plugin here. So just in case you are not getting the option, you can install JUnit plugin, and here I will select publish JUnit test results report, and then I have to give the location. So here I should be giving the location from reports, because if you go to the logs of this job, so let me just show you. If I go to the logs of my job, so this is my job, and I go to any of these logs, console output, you can see it is setting up my. So this is the location of my workspace of my project, and I have to give the location relative to this location. I have to give the path of reports related to this location. So if I go here on my Jenkins, if I go here, and I know after this I have to go to the reports folder. So I will say here reports and then forward slash. After this, if I go to reports, let me see what is inside. Let me clear this. So I am inside reports, and if I list out the details, I have test suite 1. So I will go to test suite 1, and after that, if I go inside test suite 1, after that I have different folders which are created randomly with the timestamp. So I will say slash star, which will take the latest folder, and then if I go to any of the latest folder, reports folder, let us go here. Yeah, I'm inside, and if I go inside, so I have a JUnit file which is junit report.xml. So I can either copy this and give it like this, or I can also say star.xml. So even if the name changes, it should not matter, and it should take it, and that's it. I will say apply and save, and now I will build it again. I will say build now, and this time we should also get some reports generated on Jenkins. So let us look at the output. So this is running fine. This is running the test suite 1, which is running our test case 1, test 1. And once this is completed, let us see this is finished. And if I go back to the project, so as of now, I do not have any report. I think I should be running it one more time so that we have some data generated. So I will say build now again. And this should start our fourth run. And yes, this is started. And I go to the console output. And meantime, I will also add the steps here. Step number 7 is in post build actions, add publish JUnit reports and configure. And yeah, this is done. Now if I go back to my project, so yes, you can see the result trend here, and here we are getting the reports now, and I can go here, I can check all the details, and as you will keep on running your test, you will have all the data here. So you will have all your data coming here as you will keep on running your tests, and you can see all the details are here. Now you can also go to history and check all the details. So you can see this was, we have started getting results from build number 3. So we have build 3 here, and then we have build 4. So here if I go here, I can check all the details, all the test results, the duration and everything. So this is a very small test because it's an API test. And then the next thing I can do is I can also get some graphical reports, and for that I will say step number 8 is add test result analyzer plugin to generate graphical reports on Jenkins, right? So what I will do is I will go to my manage Jenkins, and I will go to manage plugins, and I will go to available section, and here I will search for test result analyzer. So I should be having a plugin called test result analyzer. Let me just search for it. So this should be test result analyzer. Let me check if I have already in the installed section. It is not here. It should be in the available. Let me try once again to get the plugin, and here, yes, this is the plugin. So this is test result analyzer plugin, and this will use your JUnit or your TestNG reports to generate graphical reports. So let me just click here and I will say install without restart, and this is installing this plugin. And once this plugin is installed, you do not have to do any configuration. It will by default take up your JUnit or your TestNG reports and show the graphs. So now this is done. If I now go to my project again, I will just go to my job, Jenkins job, and here you will see it has already come test result analyzer. I have not done any changes in the job. It has automatically detected the reports, and if I go here, you can see it will show you all the graphical reports. So you will see all the pie charts and all the build status. You can always filter this and see skipped, failed and passed. You can always go here and you can also download a test CSV. So if you click here, it will download a test CSV file. You can go to options and you can select how many builds you want to show, what all graphs you want to show, the chart types. You can select from here, and then of course you can go to your test cases and see all the details and all the trend. So this is how you can also set up the test result analyzer plugin to generate graphical reports. And this is how you can use Katalon Studio and run your Katalon test on Linux using Git and Jenkins. I hope this session was very useful for you. Thank you for watching.